Hey everybody, I'm Tammy Kiefer. I'm a licensed clinical social worker.
And my name is Desiree Grimaldi. Welcome to Unguarded Minds podcast, where we talk about all the drama, trauma, and gritty things that life throws at us. Today we have a special guest, Sheri. She is a therapist, but she is coming on to talk to us about her experience as a parent of two kids and living the single life after divorce and kind of what that's been like in the dating world. And we are just going to dive in and get to the gritty things of it. So welcome, Sheri. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.
So you let us know, you've been in the dating world for you've been single at least for 5 years now. Is that right?
On and off for 5 years, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know that I've been in like a relationship. I've been in situationships.
So did you get divorced 5 years ago? Is that
We separated 5 years ago. Yeah, we're still
okay?
not legally divorced, but that's a whole nother episode.
So you got divorced. How long were you with your previous partner?
That's a really good question. I think I kind of blocked it out. I think probably 15 years.
So that's a long time to be off the market to dive back.
Things
Yes,
have changed a bit.
yes,
Yeah.
just lately. As have I, and apparently
Yeah.
the men out there as well.
Yeah. And this isn't about him by any stretch, but like, did you guys, just to get a grip of like how it started, did you guys like meet in school? Did you meet at work? Like, how did you establish that connection versus how you're trying to like meet and connect with people today?
Yeah, that's a great question. We actually met in the office where we worked. We were both in real estate and we worked in the same office. And actually, his mom was a realtor and I met her before I ever met him. So it was kind of funny.
Well, getting mom's approval first. I guess you skipped the hard part.
Did it backwards.
Yeah.
And then you've got you have two boys, right?
I have a girl and a boy. My daughter
A girl
is
and a boy.
7. Yeah, my daughter's 17 and then my son just turned 13 today.
Oh, happy birthday to him. Good.
Yeah.
All right.
So how are you navigating even like looking for potential partners? Like, what are your avenues you're using?
Well, I thought at first that the best strategy would be to ask my friends if they know
Yeah.
people because there'd be some kind of context or whatever. But everyone says they don't know any single men, so I found that strange. But yeah, so I basically resorted to online dating because I work from home. If I go in the office, I rarely even see another human besides my clients, who obviously I can't date. Yeah, like I literally would never ever meet a man just out and about because I'm always
Yeah.
with my kids. I'm always in situations where it's 95% married people.
Right.
So yeah.
So dating apps, are there certain apps that you like better than others? Are they all kind of the same? Paid ones, free ones? I don't know.
I feel like they all have their own personality, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I definitely have a better feel for some than others.
Mm-hmm. So how was that? I mean, you're a therapist, you're a counselor, and what was your experience doing counseling while you're trying to date, while you're getting divorced, while you're like, I know how mine was when I got divorced, and it was weird doing couples counseling while you're getting divorced.
Yeah,
I have,
it seems a little ironic, right?
I mean, it was a huge, yeah, I don't know, how was that for you?
Um, I think it just gives you a lot of insight. I think I just pull from that a lot. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing. But sometimes I do feel like a hypocrite, although I did do all my training, my couples training after we separated, so
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
might have come in useful beforehand.
I think there's a give better advice to somebody who's actually walked it and lived it and like can take themselves out of it and look and see like, oh, that's where that went wrong, or that boundary, or that lack of communication, or whatever it was. It gives you, with the book knowledge or the educational knowledge plus the actual experience, I think helps tremendously to make you better for your clients, and set yourself up to not be in the same situation again.
Yeah.
So you said that you're never really in a situation. Why aren't you putting yourself in a situation to be out by yourself, meeting people? Like, what prevents you from like going out to events or like places where other single people would be mingling?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, right now I have my kids full time. I have full custody on my own, so it's just it's a time thing. I'm always driving to hockey or driving my daughter to work or doing, you know what I mean? There's just not time to go hang out
There's
somewhere.
Mhm.
no single dads at hockey.
Very few. Very few. I don't know if we had any on our team last year, but yeah, very few. Um, I do try, like I've tried. But I feel like every environment that I would gravitate towards naturally is female heavy. Like yoga class, it's 95% female.
Mhm.
Yeah, I just feel like everywhere I go, it's just more females than males, I guess. And I'm not
Mhm.
one to go hang out in a bar by myself. Although maybe
Yeah.
I should. I don't know.
Is it one? Do you think though? Maybe some. I mean, obviously, some of those definitely are more female heavy. But I remember doing a Tony Robbins thing where he was like, "Look for everything brown in the room," and like you'd look and you would find every single thing. And then he was like, "Okay, look for look at everything except for brown or whatever," and like you would see what it was you were looking for and completely miss, and even try and like justify a tone of brown to make it match like what you were looking for. So maybe if like, do you ever find yourself in that mindset where you're maybe like, "Ugh, there's nobody here I would date. This is like not the optimal opportunity," that maybe you're missing something?
No, I would say it's the opposite. I'm
Mm.
overly hopeful where I'm like, stop it. Like, stop it. You don't need to look at the dog park, right? Like, no, yeah, I would say in my case, I'm very aware of what and who is around me.
Do you think that you've just because of what you've gone through and having full custody, it sounds like you definitely went through the ringer, and have had those experiences to draw from? Do you feel like you're extra picky because of everything that you know clinically and personally?
Yeah, a thousand
Yeah,
percent.
yeah,
And my situation was kind of extreme. What the situation that I left, I'm not going to get into detail, but
yeah.
um, yeah, it definitely changes you as a person, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a hyper alert to red flags.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of have the three strikes and you're out rule, like
Mm-hmm.
even going through a dating profile.
Yeah.
So yes, I am very, very picky and I approach it very differently than I would have
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago or even 10 years ago.
Right. Well, and then there's the safety factor too. I mean, you don't, I don't know. It's hard to tell who somebody is in their profile, but when you can really pick it apart, there's definitely some things that come out where there's a tone or the way that they're wording things, or if there's like blaming things or just that negative overtone. It's just like, that's a huge red flag. You're like, nope, nope, swipe left or
Hmm.
right or whichever way you swipe for the no. No,
Left. Yeah.
left.
Yeah, you learn
Yeah,
very quickly, and I'll even like even in the chats, I'll say something on purpose just to see how they respond. Like I'll be like,
that's
"Oh,
a
I
good
had a crappy
idea.
day," or "I have a bad headache," just to see if they're even there's an ounce of empathy, or if they just
Yeah.
brush over it and they're like, "Next, let's talk about
Mm,
whatever."
right.
So
Well,
yeah,
you should have heard my day. Well, I've got the biggest headache ever. Right.
yeah,
Okay, left.
yeah, exactly. So I think you can tell a lot by, I don't know, purposely crafting questions, I guess. But having said
Hmm.
that, here I am 5 years in, I haven't found someone, so maybe my advice isn't the advice to take.
Well, I've heard a lot with the dating apps. I think that people are a little apprehensive to get out there because you just don't know if they're telling the truth or what you're really going to get, or there's the love bombing, like everything's great up front, which is a huge red flag. Um, what about more organic-y? You're in Canada, right?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
was going to
In
say 3 of those years don't count because you guys were super stringent during COVID and
mm,
like complete lockdown. Um, So I
Yes,
Yeah,
feel like you shouldn't count 3 of those years against yourself.
I
that's
agree. I love
true.
that. And it's
That's a
funny,
good point.
actually, I went out for a drink with a guy a couple years ago that I had once dated, and he said to me, COVID was the best thing that ever happened to single men. And I said, why? Why do you say that? And he says, because you don't have to take them out for dinner or out for drinks anymore. You just say, hey, I'm coming over. So I think it's also completely changed the whole dating dynamic and the whole environment,
Hmm.
which is interesting.
Do you find that a lot with like the dating apps that they're only looking to come over as opposed to trying to keep it PG as opposed to like a traditional date?
Yeah, I would say there's definitely that element, and I would say on certain apps they're more kind
More
of
so.
geared towards that versus others. But yeah, it's
Mhm.
definitely a thing.
Hmm. And how about your kids? Like, are your kids excited for you to date? Like, do they ever, I don't know, try to help out with, oh, hey, my kids or my friends' parents know someone or whatever. Like, what's their take on the whole dating thing?
Um, they don't say a whole lot. I mean, I don't tell them a whole lot, and I've never introduced them to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I don't know how they feel about it. They're just kind of on the fence. I think they would like to have someone, like to have a father
Mm-hmm.
figure in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I guess we don't talk about it a ton. I'll just make
Mm-hmm.
jokes sometimes, but
Yeah. Well, they're at that age where it's so everything's kind of about them still, like very egocentric, which is totally normal, teenagers. And so I don't think they really realize what we go through as moms until later.
17-year-old daughter though too, so she's probably just entering that dating world and probably is up
Mm.
against some of the same exact things of they only want to come over versus traditional date, so she's facing probably a lot of the same stuff too.
absolutely, yeah. And she has already kind of seen that, and it's kind of sad to see that she's almost jaded already, and she's not even 18. So I feel like even for them, right, even though they haven't gone through what we've gone through at that age, I feel like
Hmm.
the whole dating um, scene or environment or whatever you want to call it has changed.
Hmm. Now, is that um, based on like her own experiences? Is that based on social media stuff? Is that based on just, I don't know, her friends? What do you think that's the jaded part's based on?
I think all the above. Like she has dated guys who basically made it very clear that all they wanted was sex.
Hmm.
Um, she says that I can't remember what percentage she tossed out there, but most people cheat. So she says, I don't know
Mm.
what the point is of even dating or being in a relationship.
Hmm.
Um, and then of course, yeah, she sees her friends and sees what goes on with that whole aspect. So yeah, I think it's kind of
Hmm.
all the above.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think, and you do wonder if it's kind of changing in a sense. Like, I don't know, I guess I remember in high school, like, well, my perception, it seemed like everyone had a boyfriend. I never had a boyfriend. It was just, yeah,
I didn't
and
either, so
yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. That's a whole other podcast, but um yeah, I think like my son, my youngest one, he's got a ton of girlfriends.
About him.
I know he'll be okay with this one. I'm always I'm always like, don't let me talk about my kids. They're gonna be like, Mom, don't bring up anything that has to do with me. Um, yeah, I think he's just like, why would I get serious with somebody right now? Versus I guess like I remember it just felt like everybody was serious. You were looking for that serious. So maybe part of that's changing. Just, I mean, like think of homecoming and prom. It's like they all go as a group now. And it's just so common. They all just go as a big group. You don't even have to have a date versus it was just if you didn't have a date, you weren't going.
hmm yeah. And I think just I don't know, it just seems like the whole, and maybe it's just the bubble that I'm in, but I feel like the whole attitude of society has changed. I don't know. I'll give you an
Hmm.
example. So I won't say who it was, but we were hiking and we were driving back home, and there was a 13-year-old in the back of the car, And it's always entertaining, of course, when the kids get chatting in the car, right? Because you learn all sorts of stuff. Um, and she said something about, oh, we had seen a wedding being photographed where we were hiking. And I was like, oh, that was a nice wedding and whatever, whatever. And she says, yeah, I'd like to get married there as well. And I was like, oh, like you liked the spot or whatever, whatever. And she's like, no, so I could jump off the cliff before I before I made the commitment. I was like, this is coming from a 13-year-old, right? I'm like, yeah, I was shocked. And
Huh.
her parents were still together and allegedly happy. So it was interesting to
Yeah.
me that she was, so jaded in that regard.
Well, I think society too has changed for girls where they're like, I don't have to have kids. I don't have to do the things. My daughter who's sitting across from me, but I mean, ever since she was little, like she didn't even like dolls. She's like, I don't want kids. Don't want them. I think she'll change her mind as she gets older and things like that. But, she didn't want kids. She's like, I don't want to get married. I'm not cooking after anybody. I'm not cleaning. I'm not doing. Like, she's selfish in her own way, not in a bad way, but like she knows the energy she wants to put into somebody else versus herself. And
Mm-hmm.
she's 16. So I think that it shifted a lot of what's expected or what
Mm-hmm.
the goal is, I guess. Where it was, meet somebody, get married and have kids and buy a house and, do the things, check the
Right.
boxes, where that's changed a lot too. So
Mm-hmm.
that reaction I feel like is more common than not lately. On both boy and girl. Like my son, he's 11. He's like, I'm not getting married ever. I'm like,
Yeah, it'll be
"Kids."
interesting to see, 10, 15,
Yeah.
20 down the road, how this all plays out. But
So you have been on some dates though. What
yes, I
what have
have.
they been like? Like what are some of the things? Because I'm sure not all of them were like terrible the first day and you just called it quit. Like I'm sure some of them grew a little bit. Like what were some of the things that you experienced
Yeah,
actually?
I mean, a lot of them have been really positive. I think the biggest thing for me is the stage of life that you're in. That is really tough, and how old your kids are and what your schedule's like, and kind of fitting those pieces together where you didn't have to worry about that,
Mm-hmm.
when you're 25 and you're dating. So I find that is more of a challenge for sure. And then also I feel like there's no context. That's another thing when you date someone from offline, right? You show up and it's them in front of you. You don't know anything about them. You've never seen how they treat others, wait staff. You've never seen how they interact with their friends. You've never heard about their family. You don't know, you know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
so, I find that part really, really difficult. Yeah. Just the lack of context. I feel like that's bizarre in the whole online dating world. Like they could show up and pretend they're anyone,
Right.
right? So,
So, I mean, I'm a big fan of taking things really slowly, um, because you don't know context and you don't know. So, do you like if you were for yourself or someone else, would you suggest going and like casting your net on apps, but get off the app and hurry up and like get in person, like not, out in public, like where you feel safe, but just hurry up and get those actual interactions as face to face?
absolutely. And I mean, I've learned that basically if you talk for a couple days and you don't start planning to meet, you never will. It'll be those few
Okay,
sentences and then it's see ya. They go into the into the mix of the millions of people
another's,
you've talked to. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so that's interesting. So like you meet someone, you start chatting it up, couple days, like, all right, let's see who you are. Yeah. Um, do you guys have meetup.com? Is that like a
Yes, we
worldwide
do.
thing? Do you have
Yes, we
Meetup?
do.
Have you ever looked into that before? I just think of that as like it's more of an organic-y kind of a thing because people are getting together to go hiking or to go to a game or to go, I don't
Hmm.
know, whatever. And it's more like we're here because we all like this. It's not like here's a dating app where,
So
yeah,
it starts off with a commonality.
yeah, it already starts off like that. And you're in a group. So it's more, less pressure maybe.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
Have you
love
ever?
that idea. And I have been on Meetup and gone to a couple different things, but Maybe
Same.
it's the picky thing. I don't know. I've just
Hmm.
never met someone that I've connected with or that I think that they're a dating potential. So,
Yeah. Well, and you are in that space of, I mean, where is your time? So, I mean, time has got to be a huge factor. Do you feel like, and that's something that, of course, you wouldn't change. You know, you've got your kids, you've got your career, you've got, you know, you're involved in your kids, you're still raising your kids. Um, do you like, does that start working against you as far as confidence wise? As far as like, oh, I'm not meeting anyone, I'm not meeting anyone. Like, is it me versus like, God, I don't have any time. Like, I don't
hmm
know. How does that affect you?
hmm yeah, it's definitely in your head, right? It's like, and I mean, especially when people are asking you, like, how are you still single? How is that possible?
Mm-hmm.
How have you not, you know? And I don't think that people necessarily understand what the
Mm-hmm.
environment is like or how challenging it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's definitely that element, right? That inner dialogue of, is it me? Am I too picky? Am I too whatever, whatever? You
Mm-hmm.
know, why am I not meeting someone?
I've
Yeah, the
been
whole thing.
I've been looking into the term the hyper independent. Have you heard of that coming up? And
I
yeah,
haven't, but
so
no, I like that.
I think it is so interesting. So hyper independent is just being, well, almost too independent, but it's almost a coping mechanism. And it's more of a coping mechanism because I don't want to get hurt again. I don't want to, you know, I've been through the ringer. I don't want to go through it again. And so it could be, I guess it feeds into some secondary gains, some irrational beliefs, just that internal dialogue of like, oh, well, there's no good ones out there. But really it's I don't want to lose my independence, but too much. I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh, 100%. And what you said, like, I don't want to get hurt again. I don't want to go through that again. And I've
Mhm.
kind of come to terms with that realization lately where I think that unconsciously I pick emotionally unavailable or physically unavailable men. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, they're in another town. Perfect. Oh, they have no time. That'll work. So, yeah, I
Exactly.
think
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a thing. But also, yeah, I have started dating people, and then I'm like, the effort, the time, the everything else that's required on top of my life, I'm like, do I really want to bother with this? Like, this is a lot of effort.
Yeah.
So maybe it does go back to that independence thing, right? Where I don't know, it's like, do I really need this? And I think that also feeds into this hyper independence and this me society,
Mm.
feeds into the fact that everyone wants non-committed relationships, um, friends with benefits, whatever you want to call it, situationships.
Mhm.
I find that just in general, everyone's very commitment phobic these days. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I,
So, go ahead. No,
in
you
our
go.
area, we have like Greenville gals, things like that, where it's more female groups that are single females, where you can go out and bond and be with females, but also like have somebody to go to the bar with. So you're not going to the bar alone. You're not doing these things alone. You're going out as a group, but still putting yourself out there. And a quick Google search shows that there are some near you. It's called
Well, you'll
Girls
have to.
Connect.
That's what I feel I'm missing is a wing woman. Like
Yeah.
that's what I need.
Yeah.
It's a Facebook group near you called Girls Connect, where you live. And then there's another one called Shy Singles, where you live dating. So there are some Facebook groups, but I was just thinking, like, maybe it's because you're looking. Like, we never find what we want when we're actively searching for it. Like, we're putting too much pressure on it, too much effort into it and stuff. But if you had a group of women that can support you and, like, you guys could just go hang out and have fun and, you know, put yourself outside of the home, outside of the clients, outside of the kids, outside of the activities, and be in an environment that you might, be able to meet more people that are
No,
looking
that's a
more and
great
aren't
idea.
on an app.
Sorry.
I said that are looking for the same similar things, not on an app per
Mm-hmm.
se.
Mm-hmm. No,
There's
absolutely.
also that Bumble BFF. Have you ever heard of that? So there's
Mm.
Bumble, the dating app, but there's Bumble BFF, and I've had some
I
clients who
do
have
it,
gone on.
friends.
connect you with friends. Yeah, it's like I want to increase my social circle of people who are like me in my stage of life, in my with
Hmm.
my mindset. And because I think that it can be really hard just meeting people in general. You know, when your kids are little, you're involved in school and you're involved in all the things and whatever. And there's play dates and you're automatically hooked up with these other moms where it's like, you know, I see you, I get you, and mom's clubs and but man, when the kids get older, all of a sudden like you are plucked out of the situation where you're not part of their their really their friends. I mean, they start driving, you know, and you're like, whose house are you going to? And you know, it's like, oh, have I met that person yet? I'm not,
Yeah.
you know,
Who is that?
who is that? Yeah. And but yeah, I think that, and then you're working from home, and then there was COVID, and so just I think you're right, like expanding that social circle, and I can't help but to think that that would be great for confidence also.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys nailed it. And that's what I keep thinking, right? In my mind, even though I haven't done it. I'm like, this is what I need to do. I need to find a group of women or a wing woman or just
Mhm.
friends. Yeah. And even
Mhm.
like even going through separation, moving communities, people
Mm.
kind of take sides or don't want to take sides or um
Yeah.
yeah, you lose a lot of friends in that whole process, right? And
Yeah.
again, I don't think people recognize that if they haven't been through it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that on top of COVID, on top of moving, on top of working from home, yeah, it's tough for sure.
It's
Yep.
a lot easier to justify, like, I'm going out with the girls tonight, big one, watch little one, cooked in, whatever, than it is to say I'm going on a date. That it
Mhm.
feels different. It's like, no, I'm a mom. I need that female energy. I need that bonding. And it's a little bit more justifiable to allow yourself to take time for you as opposed to maybe saying, I'm going on a date, which can bring guilt and other things. So I think that would be fun. I'm gonna like know everything about where you live. I like one of the top asked questions is like where to meet women in your area.
Wow.
It's like Betty Lou's library.
Oh yeah, I've never been there, but I've heard about it. But that's a really interesting comment to go back to that, Desiree, because I struggle with that as far as putting myself or making myself a priority. So I was just thinking the other day, like I have not done anything or gone out socially in a month. Like that's really
Mm.
sad, right? Like I'm not happy. And I just
Mhm.
dedicate myself entirely to my kids. And I've just started to recognize like it's not healthy. It's not a good
And they're
example to set.
older. They're not like little. So, I mean, you shouldn't feel guilt. They don't need as much, they don't need 100% of your time. They obviously need what they need. But, I mean, they know how to cook dinner. You could take a night out. They know how to.
But I think too, like, you know, you went through a huge change. They've gone through a huge change too. So it's like, yeah, I could see that where you just want to make sure, like, is everyone okay? Like, you know, I always thought with when I got divorced with my kids, like, I am so sorry. You guys didn't choose this, you know? And then you have, I think there's that normal mom guilt, but then I think there's this other layer of guilt, like, oh my God, I've completely messed up your lives. I've caused all this problem. I've caused, you know, or we, but yeah, so so maybe that's part of it also. And but I think that that's another layer um of like forgiving yourself and
Hmm.
saying it's okay, like it is what it is. I can't go back and change it. Sounds like you probably made an excellent decision because you have full custody. There's just a lot there,
I
and
do right now,
maybe,
not the full
yeah,
time, but I do right now, yeah.
okay. So maybe, you know, I don't know, maybe part of it is finding that forgiveness in yourself. I mean, I still work on that. And you know, when my kids, when they've had relationships and like it didn't work out or something happens, automatically I'm like, oh my God, it's because I got divorced and I showed you what not to do and you don't trust anyone and you know, and it's like then they'll say like, I don't know, we just were going our separate ways or we like different things. I'm like, oh, okay. Everything's fine. But you've just got that layer of guilt on top of it for everything that they've been through.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, yeah, my kids, not to gonna dive into it obviously, but they have a
Yeah.
lot of extra stuff they've been struggling with lately. And so I think
Hmm.
that yeah, I'm just like, I can't leave them. I can't. What if they need me? What if they have a breakdown? What if they it's all that mom guilt
Yeah.
and
And the
protective and
And the other side of it could be, what if they saw you happy? What if they saw you putting yourself first a little bit here and there? What if, I mean, anxiety is contagious, so is guilt, so is whatever. So maybe like they feel stuck or like I can't get over that hump because my mom is sad or because my mom is not doing things for herself or I mean, I don't know. Could be.
yeah, no,
I
I
don't know
like
your
that.
situation, but yeah.
No, for sure. And I think
And
too, like your kid's energy reflects your energy. That's what I've realized, right? Like if you're cranky, they're fighting and they're
yeah.
not getting along and they're not cooperating. And if you're
Yeah.
happy and you're laughing and you're joking, they're much better, right? So,
So true. That's such a good point. Yeah. And I think, energy attracts energy. So if you're, you know, not at your best self, not doing enough for you, and that's gonna put that type of energy out there and maybe that's what you're attracting with these guys.
I like that. You've had a lot of good thoughts today. Maybe I should come see you as a therapist.
Well, you can
Am I
just
allowed?
join, get ready, get dating ready, relationship ready for,
Yeah,
Yeah,
on Thursday?
yeah,
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm there. I'm there. I have it in my day book.
That's awesome. I'm so excited. Yeah, I'll be excited to see you. And honestly, I mean, yeah, that's my job, but I lived it too. And I get it. I mean, it's tough to get out there. It's tough to trust. It's tough to and when I say I take relationships slowly, Desiree always teases me because I think we were together for 10 years. We got engaged. We were engaged for 3. We got married a year ago, and we still don't live together.
Speaking of hyper independence.
Well, when the word came across, I'm like, maybe I should pay attention.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I also think it was some of that guilt. Like Tammy has spoken about it. Like when she had her kids with her, because she has 50-50. So when she had her kids, she wanted all that attention for them and didn't want that to be taken away. So I think it's slow,
Uh,
taking it slow, hyper independence a little bit, but I also think it was that part where you didn't have them 100% of the time. So you wanted to embrace every minute that you did have. And they grew up so fast and now they're off to college.
I know. That's the other part, Sherry, too. I mean, I'm sure it's just like I'm on borrowed time, with a 17-year-old and yeah, that's
Absolutely.
so you do just want to like take all those moments in. But
hmm
but you cannot forget about yourself. I mean,
hmm
you just can't. And it's so easy to do because you put yourself down at the bottom of the totem pole and what does that do for you? And what does it do for your kids? And what's the saying that you say, Desiree? A happy mama is a happy household, or what do you say? When you're happy, I don't know, you said it one time. It was so funny. I forgot. You come up with all these little sayings. But it's true, that's that energy attracts energy thing in the household. So yeah,
hmm
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
very true.
So your goal by Thursday, since we'll see you Thursday, I already emailed you the groups on Facebook. So you're going to
You
go join
did?
them. I did.
Okay.
Desiree is all over it. If you
I am
need like
well prepared.
resources, yeah.
Awesome. No, I'm down. I'm game.
I'm going to travel and take a trip to Betty Lou's library. I would avoid the back alley nightclub just because I don't like the name. That would scare me. That is number 2 on the list.
Yeah, I haven't been there in probably 20 years, so I don't even know what kind of crowd
They
goes
have,
there at this.
they said Alberta matchmakers. And all
Hmm.
these things are reviewed. The Betty
And
Lou's has.
how did you find this? This is on Facebook?
I just put your area single women's groups, and it's like on Yelp, like the top 10 questions for like best place for singles in your area.
Huh.
And then it's like top 10 best places to meet women in your area.
That's so you went to Yelp and you put those questions in?
No, I just put in Google. Yelp came up.
Oh.
Like the Facebook groups came up, the
Oh.
top 2 things, and then Yelp came up. And then it's like 10 best bars for singles in that area. Like
right at your fingertips.
Pub.
What
What's
was that,
that one?
sorry?
Ship and Anchor Pub and Queen's Breakfast Cocktails.
Oh. I know the
They have
ship. That's been
4.5
around for.
stars with 214 reviews.
There you go. Now I just need a wing woman. I'm set.
Yeah.
So
All right.
join the groups. Get your wing women.
Bumble BFF. Yeah. You know what? I think on Meetup you can even create your own meetup, and it could be like, hey, single ladies, we're all gonna meet here. Who wants to join me? And so you could create your own. And I think with Meetup you can even do a little bit of profile searching, just to make sure like you got your right people for you. So you can
cool.
even create a meetup. Yeah, you don't even have to wait for someone to create it for you.
Cool. I need
Yeah.
to. I think
Facebook group.
what I'm hearing is I need to get into the driver's seat instead of hanging out in the back seat.
You got this. Yeah. And isn't it, it's kind of like exciting. I mean, I can see in your energy, like it's kind of exciting. It might be a little nerve-wracking, but it might be kind of exciting also to just feel like, what's on the other side?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
So fun chatting with you, and we look forward to seeing you Thursday and bringing you back after you start getting out there. And
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, no, that'd be fun for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, we need a Sheri part 2.
Well, thank you so much, you guys. This has been so fun.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming on here. And seriously, as a therapist and talking about your own stuff, that's tough to do. So I really appreciate that. That takes courage. So thank you.
For sure. Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Take
Okay.
care. Bye.
Bye.